Hey guys! So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I study for exams to get the best grades possible. So first things first, I like to create a study plan to make sure that I revise all the topics I need to revise. And the process is pretty simple. All I do is I create a Microsoft Word document with a table, and then the rows are the weeks and then the columns are the days. Now I start studying for my exams 1 to 3 weeks before the exam, depending on the difficulty and how much I've studied the subject throughout the semester. Now, this particular exam was a bit on the harder side, so I decided to revise 3 weeks for the exam. And here I am printing out my study plan. So the next thing I need to do is obviously plan everything out. So I go ahead and write down all the chapters that I need to study each day. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in my study plan, I never include weekends. This is because most of the time, something comes up on one of the weekdays and I'm not able to complete all my studying, so I use the weekends to catch up on missed study sessions. And then another thing you can notice is that the last week of revising are not just chapters, but are more interactive methods of studying, like past papers, quizzes, tests, also video lectures and flashcards, which is a super important part for me. And here's a quick look at my study plan for you guys to see what it looks like exactly. Now, let's talk about how exactly I study for my exams. I use different revision methods for different subjects. I'll show you my top 3 methods for each one. So let's get started. The first group of subjects are subjects like math and physics. My first method for subjects like this are practice questions. The reason is because subjects like math and physics, you can't really learn them by heart or memorize them. So instead, all you need to do is practice, 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 because as they say, practice makes it perfect, especially for subjects like math and physics. Now, let's move on to my second study method, which is flashcards. Now, this may sound a little weird because flashcards and math aren't the first things that come to your mind together. However, the thing is that there are a ton of formulas that you need to memorize, and if you get the formula wrong, you get the whole question wrong, which is not something I want to have to face with. And my third study method are video lectures. I love these because some days I may be sick or other days are maybe really tired or really unmotivated to study, and this is a great way to obtain a lot of information without having to put a ton of effort in, which is great. Now let's move on to some other subjects. In this case, let's talk about history and biology, or subjects that just require a ton of memorizing. My first method are flashcards, but this time they are digital. Digital flashcards on platforms like Quizlet allow you to test the flashcards in different methods like multiple choice or fill-in blanks. These features make the study sessions much more effective and fun. My second method are summarizing chapters. This is absolutely great because first you need to go ahead and read the chapter, and then you go ahead and write down the most important parts of the chapter. With reading and writing, this really helps you memorize all the information, which is essentially what you're trying to do with subjects like history and biology. My final method are mind maps, diagrams, tables, charts, whatever it is, something visual that I can use to memorize all the information. This is great because personally I'm a visual learner, and this method really helps me memorize a ton of information like timelines, for example, for history. Now let's move on to other subjects. In this case, we're talking about foreign language subjects, and my first way of studying are flashcards because there are a ton of words that you need to memorize, and flashcards are a great way to test yourself. Sometimes I make them digitally, sometimes I tend to make them on paper. My second method for foreign language-based subjects are online quizzes. There are so many resources on foreign subjects that are super fun and easy to use, but also very informative and end up teaching you a lot of new words. final thing are listening exercises. Sometimes listening can be a part of the exam, so it's super important to take them and be prepared. So those were all the methods that I use to study for my exams. So I hope you guys found them useful. Hey guys, so essentially that is how I study for my exams. I really hope you guys found this video useful and picked up some tips and tricks for how to prepare for your exams. And if you have an exam really soon, I hope that you do great on the exam. Also, make sure to subscribe down below for weekly videos like this one, and let me know in the comments down below, when do you start preparing for your exams? So as I said, it's usually 1 week before the exam, or if it's super hard, 3 weeks before the exam for me. But that is it for this week's video, and I'll see you guys next week with a new video. Bye!